What's up, guys, and welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. K. Ray Knight, here to give you proper diagnosis, prognosis, and everything comics and comic book characters. It's been a while, but we are back with comic book characters you may or may not know about, and this one is a Black History Month edition, and I just had to bring you guys this because this is one of my favorite facts. And it, in the past, when I did bring this up, it pissed people off to no end. Why? You know why. But without further ado, we're going to be talking about the very first Green Lantern ever. Okay? And the very first Green Lantern ever is not only black, but a woman. And her name is Alitha. Now, as we know, DC likes to kind of retroactively do things, which is and isn't fine. I honestly just, sometimes I don't really care, and then other times I'm just like, okay, what are you guys doing? So they put this together back in 2017, I believe May of 2017, in the Green Lantern's story. And she makes her first appearance as like a silhouette in Green Lantern's number 18, I think, 17 or 18, something like that. And they started discussing the original Green Lanterns. Now, a lot of people kind of try to mix words and use, like, just go through the semantics of original Green Lantern because, of course, we have the first Green Lantern being Alan Scott. And I'm like, I completely and totally understand where you're going with that. However, no. So, they had created these rings. Rami, I think, is the one who was creating them. Created these rings billions of years ago. And nobody was able to wear them without going completely fucking mad. And these are the Green Lantern ones. Now, other rings were definitely created because Volthoom is the original Lantern. Not Green Lantern, but the original Lantern. So he had all of the other ones, literally. Now, a lot of the Green Lantern history does have to do with Volthoom because he was the first one to wield a power ring ever. And that is how he became like the first Lantern. And he had a travel lantern, which allowed him to travel through space and time, which is how he came across Rami to begin with. And Rami ended up destroying his travel lantern so that he couldn't return to his own reality, and used like the power within the travel lantern to create the Green Lantern rings. But again, nobody was able to wield the Green Lantern rings without going completely mad. So when the first 7 Green Lanterns ever were created, the very first one of them was Alitha. And Alitha is from a war world basically called Galactica. Now, Galactica not only preceded New Genesis, but also Apocalypse 4th world. So this was a 3rd world. And, of course, it was a warring world. Like, that's basically all they did. And Alitha was a gladiator there. And a lot of the things and decisions that she made altered her people's future, which made her probably one of the most courageous people on her entire planet. So she was the very first person to receive a Green Lantern ring. My girl. So she was the first of the original 7 Green Lanterns. And she was called forth by Rami to go up against Volthoom, who at this point was just going on a murderous rampage because his ass was fucking crazy. And he had all of these rings. He did not have a Green Lantern ring, and he really wanted one. Now, when the rest of the 7 were put together, it was a lot of different personalities clashing together, and they actually ended up losing one. So it ended up just being the 6 of them. And the one that they ended up losing, her name was, I want to say her name was like Jan Al. And Jan Al was from Krypton. She was like an early Kryptonian, right? So she was the one who experienced the instability. She realized how unstable the rings actually were, which is what the Guardians were fearing with them wearing the rings to begin with, because her willpower reached 2,000%, which overcharged her ring and ended up killing her. Imagine. So Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz ended up having being time displaced and going back, and they ended up meeting the originals. They met Jan as well, so they met the original 7, and they were very much determined to defeat Volthoom because he was fucking tripping and killing planets and shit. And so what they were trying to do was trying to get them to use their willpower. So they were trying to explain to them how the power rings worked. And Alitha, being the leader that she felt like she was failing the rest of the team, because while they were all experiencing how their willpower was affecting their rings, she didn't seem to be able to do it. So it was like she had the battle armor and everything, but it's just she could not bring herself to find the strength or the willpower to use the ring properly. And she did not want to, after they lost Jan, she did not want to not only overpower the ring but underpower it as well, to where she would be easily killed. So she was having that conflict with herself, and Simon was the one who was helping her. Simon didn't have a fucking ring, which was wild, but Simon was the one helping her and helped her realize that you have to let that inner conflict go and let your willpower fucking win so that you can use the power properly. And then, of course, she was probably one of the most powerful ones with the ring anyway. On top of just being battle worn and having these tactical strategies and everything, she was fucking perfection. Do you hear me? However, when they get into the battle with Volthoom, she is split with Tyranier, who is an ancient Tamaranian, or Tamaran, and he's the only one fucking alive, which is insane to me. But those two were approaching him after he had destroyed a planet, and while he did destroy and kill all of these people on this planet, and they got there way too late, and Alitha basically gave this absolutely amazing speech encouraging the rest of them. And after that, they went ahead and did the Green Lantern Oath. So they were the first ones to do the Green Lantern Oath, even though they didn't know it at the time, but Jessica and them do know it. So Jessica and Simon told it to them, and then they were the first Green Lanterns to take the Green Lantern Oath. Okay, so they ambush him, and Alitha is giving him the business. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Alitha was whooping his ass. Her and Tyranier. Okay. He does kill Cillian first, who is the plant Green Lantern, sentient plant. And then I do believe he ends up killing Alitha next. He literally had to, but the thing was that he had to explode her entire body, because had he only injured her, she would have been whooping his ass still. So she does end up dying in this battle, but she died a fucking amazing ass warrior. And her body was, I guess, recreated and is lying in the Vault of Shadows, which is guarded by Tyranier. So that is our original, very first Green Lantern. I would have been surprised if they kept her as still alive after that fight. I would have been very surprised. However, I know how DC treats characters like this. And while I'm very happy that this is a fact, especially coming into Black History Month, I am also not fucking crazy. Because it kind of just felt like a here damn type thing at first. Now, given the fact that absolutely nobody asked for this and the reaction that people were giving when it happened, I was like, okay, they were willing to take a shot in the dark and let it ride. I wish, though, that there was more history with this if you're going to do it, because you gave just a little bit. So basically what you're saying is she became the very first Green Lantern, immediately joined a team of other Green Lanterns that you randomly picked, immediately went into battle, immediately died. That's what you're saying. There was no in between. There's no before becoming a Green Lantern, because before she became a Green Lantern, you're saying that she was a gladiator on her world. Now, all of them, I do believe, deserve way more in their backgrounds, way more in their backstory. And the majority of them actually have way more than she does in their backgrounds. I feel like there's more to that, and you kind of just wanted to leave it at that and let it go, and then just be like, okay, so here's a small history lesson. Here's her. She was the first. Here's the rest of them. They came after her. She died. He's the only one left. They fought this great war. The end. And it's not even, I'm not trying to be nitpicky. I'm not trying to be nitpicky. I promise. But you have to, because this story came out in May of 2017. We are in 2025, and this very, very small paragraph is the only thing that you have to say. The rest of her information comes from the others, and then the reading of the books, because she has 8 appearances. She has the one silhouette appearance, and then she has the appearance after the appearances following after she gets her Green Lantern ring. And then she has the appearances following that. I just feel like if you're going to do that, if you're going to put her in 8 books, one of those books can be spent on a background about her. The same with the rest of them. The fact that Tyrannier is a fucking Tamarin. Jan Al is Kryptonian. There was a white Martian there who has a backstory about what happened on his planet with the other white Martians. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I just feel like if you're going to do it, if you're going to go for it all the way. There should definitely be more, especially if she's the first one, because there was a before she became. So, I don't know. I feel like they should bring it back, but that's just me. But anyway, this was your Black History Month video for the day, and I hope you guys get more. I'm going to continue to do the Black comic book characters because there are literally so many. I don't know if I told you guys that before. I have 79 pages, and then they keep coming up with new characters in these different comic book universes that actually have like backgrounds and stuff. So I have to keep adding to the list. Currently, that list is 79 pages long. I'm working on it. Okay. So I definitely want to bring all of these characters to the channel. If you guys have a character that you feel that I've missed at some point, mind you, a lot of the characters are on TikTok because their biographies are literally so short that trying to make a video on YouTube about them is like a waste. It literally wouldn't even hit a minute. That's how short their biographies are. So if there is a character that you feel like I've missed, please let me know. If there's a character in particular that you're wanting to see, they are most likely already on the list, so I will get to them as fast as I can. But that is it for this episode of The Doctor's Office. If you have not gotten the book, please do. Please pay attention to the podcast, I am going to be talking about Sam Wilson here, coming into the week of the Captain America movie dropping. I am going to be talking about Sam Wilson on here, as well as Sam Wilson and the Serpent Society on the podcast. Serpent Society is really important to that. So stay tuned. And I will see you guys at your next checkup.